Hi everyone, we are group 16 and the members of the group are Hector Gomez and Hannah Lopez. The topic we will be discussing is proof by contradiction. I'm Hannah and I will be going over the definition, explanation, and how it is used to create a proof, while Hector will explain 2 examples and a summary. The definition of proof by contradiction is a method of proving a mathematical statement by assuming that the statement is false, and then showing that this assumption leads to a contradiction. This contradiction implies that the original statement must be true. For explanation, this method begins by assuming that the negation of the statement. So you want to prove it is true through logical reasoning and valid mathematical operations. You eventually reach a contradiction, a situation where something is both true and false, or a logical inconsistency. Since contradictions are so impossible, the assumptions that the statement is true must be incorrect, meaning it is true. So how is it used to create a proof? First, we identify the statement you want to prove. Second, assume the negation of the statement is true. Third, use logical reasoning, definitions, and mathematical properties to explore the implications of the assumption. 4, arrive at a contradiction. 5, the assumption must be false, so the original statement is true.
As mentioned before, the first step of creating the proof is to identify the statement we want to prove. In my example number 1, my statement would be a person cannot be both awake and asleep at the same time. So now we're going to assume the negation of the statement is true. We're supposing a person can be both awake and asleep at the same time. If a person's awake, they are not asleep. If a person is asleep, they are not awake. This is using logical reasoning to explore the implications of the assumption. Since this arrives at a contradiction, then our original statement is true. This would be an example of a proof by contradiction. Another simple example of proof by contradiction is this one. Our original statement is going to be a triangle cannot have 2 right angles. So first, let's assume that a triangle can have 2 right angles. And let's look at it logically now. A right angle is 90 degrees. True. If a triangle had 2 right angles, that would be 90 plus 90, which is a total of 180 degrees. However, the sum of all angles in a triangle has to be exactly 180 degrees, which means there will be no space for a third angle. What does this tell us? We have reached a contradiction. It's impossible. So our assumption must be wrong. Therefore, a triangle cannot have 2 right angles. So our original statement is true, that a triangle cannot have 2 right angles. Super simple example of how proof by contradiction works. In summary, proof by contradiction is a powerful method of reasoning where we assume the opposite of what we want to prove. If this assumption leads to a logical impossibility or contradiction, then the assumption must be false, meaning the original statement must be true. In simple words, if the opposite leads to something that makes no sense, then the original statement must be correct. Thank you for watching.